Hello, 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 and welcome to the College of Creation. My name is Dan.
And my name is Michael.
And we are Dungeons & Dragons DMs who love to homebrew items, spells, creatures, and features for D&D. And this is a show where we make brand new homebrew every single episode based on prompts that we get from our wonderful audience and listeners. Thank you so much.
We're so happy to be here. Thanks for listening, as always.
As always, and of course, if you have a prompt for something homebrewable that you would like to hear us make on the show, you'd like to hear our take, go ahead and send that over to us in an email at collegeofcreationpod@gmail.com. We don't have a show without your emails, so please send them to us. Send us ideas that you'd like to hear us make. Or you can come on over to the Patreon. That's patreon.com/collegeofcreationpod. And you can join at the free tier, see all the things that we've ever made. Or you can drop us a little bit of money and you get some bonus episodes, some extra creations, fun stuff like that. And we really appreciate you. Otherwise, let's get into it, Michael. How are you? How did you find this prompt this week?
Hey, I am feeling great. I loved this prompt. I really enjoyed creating this prompt. I had a ton of ideas, and it was surprisingly easy to whittle them down to the thing that I made. Yeah, I had a great time. I really enjoyed this whole process, actually.
Yeah, I thought this one was really fun and interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely had ideas, but I also wanted to try and stray away from doing something that was felt too, I guess, straightforward is probably the best term for it. You know, something that was maybe a little bit unexpected, and I think I came up with a couple of fun things.
Wonderful.
Did we say what the prompt was?
I guess maybe we should circle back and start there. Today, we are going to be presenting our gemstone and fine metal creatures. We were tasked with making stat blocks or creatures or monsters made up of or inspired by gemstones, fine metallics, which is very cool.
Precious metals, precious gems. Yeah.
There's certainly a lot of those creatures already in the game. But as we said at the end of last episode, a lot of that real estate is taken up by dragons. So there was still plenty of room, I think, to explore.
Yeah. Plenty of room to, go outside of the gem dragon stuff. I even kind of set for my own self a rule where I didn't even want to use the conventions of those things to be if it's an amethyst kind of creature, then it needs to have similar traits to the amethyst dragon or something like that, right?
Right.
I didn't really want to do anything like that. I feel like there's a lot of room to do that, and I think if you are getting started with homebrew, if you are interested in doing some homebrew but aren't ready or don't feel like you have the basis in the mechanical knowledge or anything like that to really make something totally out there in left field, I think that kind of thing is a really good place to start, right? You just take a convention that already exists among gem dragons and you apply that to a different creature entirely. You say, well, what are the features here that are specific to the idea of this being a gem dragon, amethyst, diamond, emerald, whatever it is? Can I then make an emerald wolf? Great. Let me just take the stat block for wolf then, and what elements of that can I adjust and make into the things I can take from the gem dragon and sort of smash those things together. You're still doing homebrew. You're still creating your own thing that only exists in your world, but you're not having to come up with those concepts of what these things mechanically do whole cloth on your own.
Yeah, and as you get further along in your homebrewing journey, you slowly divorce yourself from that, right? You maybe keep some of the properties, but try and make your own type of creature rather than melding two stat blocks that already exist. And then you get to where we are today, where you try and buck the convention altogether. It's all of those places are good spots to be.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, it's all part of the process. It's all part of the practice and the experience and the like skill building. So I always support even the most basic of homebrew, even reskinning as a starting point
Oh
to
yeah.
get into the idea of homebrew. It's very rewarding when you feel like you can let go of some of the conventions and really go in on something that is totally
Yes.
fresh and new and totally unexpected.
Yeah, I've done many a reskin myself over my time as a GM, as a player, as a home brewer. There is nothing wrong with that, certainly.
So, Michael, shall we get into it? Shall we start
I
to
think
explore
so.
what we came up with here?
Yeah, I'm super stoked. I
Yeah,
think this is going to be a great episode. To be noted, it's been a minute since we've had creatures.
that's true.
I know we've had creatures pop up here and there on some of the more ambiguous prompts, but to be actually prompted for creatures, it has been the better part of a year, I think. So I'm happy to re-explore this terrain for sure.
Yeah, I always enjoy it. So,
Let's get into it.
yeah, what do you have? What did you bring today, Michael?
So I, like you, tried to figure out maybe a different delivery method for a creature or a series of creatures. So I went with a set of familiars today.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, I wanted to figure out a way for creatures to benefit the characters, but also still feel like their own independent entities as well.
Wonderful.
So if you would please, Dan, open your document. I present to you today the very rare, wondrous item box of crystal insects.
Ooh, that's fun. I like that it's a magic item that gives you creatures. That's fun.
It's an item that gives you creatures, but I did make stat blocks for all of the
Great.
options. This again is a Dan creation. You could go wild with this and
Let's
make 1,000
go.
different options if you want it. It is certainly open to more homebrew in the future. But yes, this is called Crystal Insects, a wondrous item of very rare rarity. This small metal box is less than an inch thick, can fit in most small bags or even in some cases a large pocket. Inside, set gently on pillowed inlays, rests a series of fine metal and gemstone brooches, crafted to resemble popular insects.
Okay.
As a magic action, you can roll on the crystal insect table or choose a brooch from the box and speak its command word. The gems flash with color and come to life, allowing you to cast the Find Familiar spell using only the brooch as its component.
Nice.
So I have a table here. There are 6 options, which we won't go through because I'm going to go through them later.
Yep.
And the familiar produced by each brooch follows the disappearance rule of the spell, which basically means if you end the spell or the familiar is dropped to 0, it just disappears until you cast it again. But there's one exception here. If it falls to 0 hit points or you dismiss it, it just returns to the form of the brooch, and you can put it back into the box. It can't be used to cast Find Familiar again for 24 hours. So once it's gone, gotta wait a day to use the same brooch again.
Okay, great. Now I don't remember. Are you able to have multiple familiars simultaneously?
You are not. It
Okay.
does say so.
That's in the
the
basic spell. Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
could not
So
remember, but yeah.
yeah, you would not be able to have all of these out at the same time. You have to choose between them.
Nor would you be able to have one of your regular familiars if
Correct.
you were a
Correct.
spellcaster with like a regular familiar.
Yeah, I thought about adding that as an option, but that felt like such a niche case that I don't think that's even necessary to put in as a stipulation. I did stipulate, though, all saving throws prompted in the stat blocks below utilize your save DC. There are
Okay.
several cases in which saves come up here. I thought it was easier just to say the player's DC instead of having different things for different bugs.
Sure.
So we are going to start up at the top here with the amethyst. This is a moth
Nice.
made of amethyst. These, I don't know if these get worse or better as we go, pun-wise. They're kind of all over the map. But this is the amethyst. These are all tiny constructs, all of their alignment is shared with the user, whatever your alignment is.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, with a few exceptions, the AC for all of these is 8 plus your proficiency bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Hit points is 5 times your proficiency bonus across the board. There are a few exceptions. The Amethyst is one of those. It does have 8 plus PB for the AC, but it is 6 times your proficiency bonus for its hit points. It has a speed of 20 feet, a fly speed of 30 feet.
Great.
Also, for all of the stats, all 6 stats are 11 plus 0, except for one. They all have one of the stats raised to 14.
Nice.
With a modifier of plus 2. The Amethyst is a dexterity-based bug. So its dexterity is 14, plus 2 for the modifier and the save. Its skills, it has a plus 4 for medicine checks.
Interesting.
Each of these has one trait and one action. Try to keep it very simple.
Nice.
For the trait of the Amethyst, I call this Powder Shield. The Amethyst and its user are immune to the charmed condition. Nice and simple. And the action is called Wing of Purity. This is your proficiency bonus per day, amount of times allotted. The Amethyst can cast Lesser Restoration. Nice and easy.
Super great.
Easy takeoff. Yeah. Then we move on to the Araquamarine. Base AC and HP. Speed of 20 feet, climb speed of 20 feet, and this is a wisdom-based creature.
Okay.
It does have 30 feet of dark vision as an additional sense. Its trait is called Calm Nerves. The Araquamarine and its user are immune to the frightened condition. Aquamarine is known to release calming energy. It's supposed to dissipate fear inside of someone who's wearing a bunch of this jewelry, and it kind of protects people from fear. Gives a little bit of courage. So I did just that. And then for the action, this is also proficiency bonus per day. This is called Adhesive Enzyme. The Araquamarine bites its user, dealing 1 piercing damage.
Okay.
Its user gains a climb speed of 30 feet and a plus 2 bonus to their strength score for proficiency bonus minutes. And this effect cannot be stacked on itself.
Sure.
So they turn you into Spider-Man for a little bit. We are going to move on to our third bug here. This is the Cicada Mantine.
Okay.
This is an AC of 9 plus your proficiency bonus, so it does have a bit of a bump there. 15 feet movement speed and a 15-foot fly speed. Strength is its boost for the ability score here. It does have 30 feet of tremor sense for its additional sense. For its trait, this is called Gleaming Shell. The Cicada Mantine and its user are immune to critical hits, as adamantine armor does. And for the action, this is called Metallic Chirp. The Cicada Mantine emits a shrill ringing sound. Any constructs within 15 feet must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failure, a creature can't use its next turn to deal damage to the Cicada Mantine or its user. So it's just a preventative measure. Getting constructs away from you. Again, this is pretty niche, so I didn't limit this one.
That one is pretty niche. I would say the critical hit immunity, incredibly powerful.
Kind of balance it out. Yeah, it balances out. Moving down from there, this is called the Gold Dragonfly. Again, this is a metal-based creature, so the AC is bumped up from 8 to 9 plus proficiency bonus. It has a fly speed of 40 feet, and this is a charisma-based creature. Has an insight boost of plus 2 for the skills, and its trait is called Micro Horde. The Gold Dragonfly and its user make all performance, persuasion, and deception checks at advantage. It is a miniature dragon, of course. And the action is called Iridescent Breath. The Gold Dragonfly exhales multicolored wisps of smoke in a 10-foot cone. Creatures caught in the cone must make a charisma saving throw or reduce their next D20 test by your proficiency bonus.
Nice.
Moving to the last column here, this is the Ruby. HP is boosted, so instead of 5 times, it is 6 times your proficiency bonus. 10-foot movement speed, 35-foot fly speed, and this is constitution based. It gets a bonus +2 to its survival checks, and its trait is called Hive of Devotion. Rubies are known to kind of increase kinship. They bring people together.
Mm-hmm.
So the ruby and its user can communicate telepathically within 100 times proficiency bonus feet of each other instead of just 100.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So any familiar you can communicate telepathically within 100 feet. Nice. This is an extension of that. And the action is called Pollinator. The ruby targets a creature within 30 feet whose type is plant. It must make a con save or become an ally to the ruby's user for 5 times proficiency bonus minutes. This is also not limited. Plants typically on the power scale of creatures are pretty low.
Yeah.
So in theory, you could spend a bunch of actions to try and muster up a little flower army. Yeah. They may not do much, but it does give you numbers, you know? Mm-hmm. Pollinate all the plants. And the last one down here is a sapphire fly. 20-foot flying speed, dexterity based for the modifier bonus. It also picks up blind sight out to 10 feet. And its trait is called Blue Light. The sapphire fly and its user can see in shades of blue out to 30 feet in magical and non-magical darkness.
Fun.
And Summer Salve is its action, proficiency bonus per day.
Great.
And the sapphire fly heals its user for proficiency bonus D8 hit points.
Ooh, wow, nice. That's not bad.
Not bad.
Very helpful. So very useful. I like that guy too.
So nothing is outright damage dealing. Mm-hmm. A lot of these could be facilitated to do that indirectly, but none of these creatures, because per the Find Familiar spell, the familiars can't attack anyway. They can just use actions and movement. Mm-hmm. So that's what these are good for, and that's what they are made for.
Yeah.
These are the crystal insects.
I like them. I mean, I think that these are fun alternative kind of familiar.
Yeah.
You know, familiars have lots of bonus abilities and actions and things that they help you with in the spell itself. But having this as sort of a specialty option is very cool and useful. And I think, obviously having the ability to kind of switch them out depending on the situation is also very useful. Yeah, I like the buff and debuff focus of these things rather than straight out damage.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, it's cool.
Thank you. What did you come with today?
Well, let's see. Like I said, I didn't just want to make things that are in line with existing gem creations and things like that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make a creature, but then also a species, because I had a species idea that I had a long while ago that was...
you said,
it was something
creature.
But I haven't looked at it in a while, and I wanted to expand on it and update it for the 2024 changes to how species in general kind of affect the overall character build, which is very different than they used to be. So I figured I would bring one of each today and present that. So if you'll open your document, you'll see the first one here is that species.
Love it.
Geons are semi-humanoid beings whose appearance is made up of variously sized shards of colorful gems and minerals. The masses of gems are bound together by strong ethereal energy, and they speak and hear by creating and manipulating vibrations within their bodies. So Geons are often extremely perceptive and observant and are deeply attuned to minuscule vibrations in all worlds and everything on them. And this trait makes them invaluable trackers, investigators, and historians. So these are elementals. You can be small or medium, and they have a speed of 30 feet. Pretty basic overall stuff. A little bit of a different type of elemental than Genasi or something like that. Feels quite different. And as a Geon, you have these special traits. First of all, you have vibrational attunement. So you have tremor sense just as a base out to a range of 30 feet.
Love
Additionally,
that.
you can communicate telepathically with any other creatures with tremor sense within that range. So if there's any other geons around you nearby, you can just communicate through minuscule vibrations, basically. And nobody else is able to perceive them
Nice.
unless they also have tremor sense. You also have the gemstone form, which is kind of the primary piece here. The body is formed of minerals and magic, which grants you certain benefits and affinities. You have a hardened body, so your base armor class is 12 plus any armor and dexterity bonus. I should have said 12 plus dexterity rather than 10. You have a solid form, so you have advantage on saving throws against spells or magical effects that would alter your form. Anything like polymorph or anything like that is harder to manipulate your own form. And then finally, you get this defensive sheath bonus action. As a bonus action, you can cause your form to coalesce and harden. You gain a damage threshold equal to 3 times your proficiency bonus for 1 minute. You can use this bonus action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus and regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest.
Beautiful.
And if you, as a DM or a table, aren't very familiar with damage thresholds or haven't used like siege tactics or anything like that before, a damage threshold basically is a number that any damage has to hit before it does any damage at all. So anything that hits you, a weapon attack or anything like that, if it does damage below that threshold, you take no damage instead. At first level, that is 6. A nice little way, I think, to capture the idea of being slightly more impervious. That is not commonly used for creatures or player characters. Is almost entirely a mechanic that is used for buildings and structures.
Yeah.
So this species being more like a structure feels right. You also get natural magic, so you learn the Mold Earth cantrip, a basic cantrip, nothing super major there, and you don't get any additional spells. But the Mold Earth cantrip, you could just have a little bit more attunement to the earth. And then finally, here's the last little piece, which is entirely built into the lore and doesn't probably have very much use in common gameplay, if we're being honest, but is rooted in this piece of the lore around these aliens. When I initially created them, is that like these things are incredibly ancient, right? They are birthed and evolved life out of like the rock itself, essentially, of outer planets and things like that. And so like their bodies are made up of unthinkably ancient stone, right? And the idea is that like that is how they maintain life. And so many of these creatures, in fact most of them, are just as old, because when it comes time, if they are beginning to deteriorate or anything like that, they simply merge back into the earth and wait for their bodies to be restored, to regrow mineral and come back out, like on their time scale, like taking a nap. But of course, on the time scale of most other creatures, lifetimes will have passed, right? So that lore piece goes into this final trait, which is called Return to Earth. Geons are ancient beings who are often known to be isolated and can exist in a state of suspension for many years to restore their life force. As long as you have at least 1 hit point and are in contact with a natural stone or earthen surface, you can spend 1 hour carrying out a ritual to merge into the earth. While you are merged, you do not need to eat, drink, or sleep. You cannot speak or see or hear anything outside of yourself unless a creature in your tremor sense range communicates telepathically with you. You can perceive absolutely nothing beyond yourself. You can remain in this state indefinitely, but you gain specific benefits based on the amount of time you remain in this state, described in the table below. So it begins with, at 1+ days of remaining in this state, you remove any conditions, curses, or diseases affecting you. So if you were starting to get petrified, or if you had some magical malady hit you, stay in this state for a day. It is cleansed from you. If you stay in for 1 week or more, you change all of your stats to 10 and then begin to re-roll one stat each subsequent week. So over
Nice.
the course of many weeks, you change, you grow, you alter yourself.
Mm-hmm.
1 month or more, you remove all class levels and you choose a new level 1 class. At 1+ years of being in this state, you gain 1 additional level after 1 year, and each level thereafter requires an additional 2 years. So after 1 year, you gain 1 more level. After another 2 years after that, so 2 years beyond that, you get another level. 4 years beyond that, you get another level. 6 years beyond that, you get another level. 8 years beyond that. So it ends up to you have to be in there for like
A
multiple
long time.
centuries if you want to get to 20th level.
Yeah.
And that is the way that like the most ancient of these beings maintain so much power. But as soon as they emerge, they must kind of stay emerged, and if they go back to merge and they stay back, they lose all of that and have to basically start from scratch. So that's just more of a lore piece than anything else.
For a player character, if you're playing this, you're not going to encounter that almost ever, and unless you're doing it during downtime to remove your curses and diseases and things like that. Or if you want to roll the dice on your stats and you have a couple weeks of downtime, you can figure that out. Maybe you go for the full 6 weeks.
You can't go over a month though, because if you go over a month, you lose your class.
Oh, that's true. That is true. So yeah, maybe you just do a couple days.
Yeah, you do a couple days.
Do a couple days.
You can maybe do as much. You can maybe 3 weeks keep 3 tens.
Stats. Yeah, if you have some stats below 10, that
But is the rest of your party just going to wait around for you to just keep going back in, re-rolling yourself?
I don't know.
This is really more of a thing that's like, I'm sunsetting this character and we're going to put them away.
Right.
And
this is great for an NPC.
Yeah, they're just going to like disappear. I think especially it is good if someone is on the edge of death, right? If you're nearing death, if there's something that is of great danger and concern, that's the kind of thing that this kind of character could actually use. But for the most part, it would be primarily NPC type stuff, nonsense like that. That's just like, yeah, and they're going to disappear to avoid the chaos and just wait out the upheaval in this moment. Because, the
sinks
earth is
back
constant.
into the rock wall of the cave. Yeah.
Yeah. Kingdoms and things like that, they come and go, but, the stone beneath your feet is, that will remain.
Is forever.
That will remain. And then we have the creature here, which I will describe the lore of this monster stat block before getting into it. This is called a Gugaw. Gewgaw. Gugaws are a known and hated pest in dungeons across the world. These innocuous-looking beasts find their way into dragon hordes and hidden stashes of pirate treasure, consuming all they find and multiplying seemingly endlessly. An uncautious adventurer may find themselves carting a chest full of Gugaws out of an ancient crypt, transporting it back to their bastion only to find a week later that their vaults are now filled to the brim with these masquerading vermin. Reliable methods do exist to detect and curb these creatures' harmful behavior. Experts recommend checking all loot thoroughly for any signs of infestation, keeping newly found treasure in secure locations far away from other riches, and hitting any large hordes of gems and gold you might find with a quick fireball spell for good measure. Because as you will see, these tiny little creatures have one nasty little trick. They have an AC of 15, HP of 18, that's 4d4 plus 8, initiatives plus 2, speed of 30 feet. Just crawl around.
Yeah.
They are primarily dex-based, so they have a strength of 10, dexterity of 16, constitution of 14, intelligence and charisma are both 4, and wisdom is 12. They have a stealth bonus. Proficiency in stealth brings them up to a +5 in stealth, and they have blind sight out to 30 feet. They have the following traits. False appearance. While the Guga remains motionless, it is indistinguishable from a normal coin or gemstone. So these creatures are made of like chitinous material that resembles, or in some cases perhaps even is, gemstone or is the gold leaf. Completely imperceptible to the naked eye than anything other than the coins and gems and other baubles that you would find in a stash of treasure. They also have treasure sense, so they can pinpoint the location of precious metals and stones within 60 feet.
Perfect.
They have a single attack. It's not very powerful. They have a scratch attack. It just is +5 to hit and deals 1d4 +3 slashing damage. But their primary actions are as follows. They can consume treasure. So the Guga touches a non-magical coin, precious metal, or gemstone within 5 feet of itself that isn't being worn or carried. If the object is smaller than a 1-foot cube, the touch destroys it, and the Guga's maximum hit points increase by 2.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Now then, their second action is that they can spawn. The Guga spawns a new Guga. The new Guga appears in a space within 5 feet of the original Guga and shares its initiative. The original Guga's current and maximum hit points are divided evenly between itself and the new Guga. Hence, consumes, gets to the point where it's at about double its hit points, and then spawns.
Replicates, yep.
So you get one of these little guys in your chest of coins. It's not going to take very long for that to just absolutely take over the horde. I considered making the consumed treasure a limited per day use thing, but honestly, no.
No, infinite.
They just keep
it
going.
infinite.
They just keep going. This is an absolute nightmare to put in front of your party. They go and they find a bunch of treasure and don't check it. Don't happen to notice that somewhere elsewhere in the dungeon they find the bones of an adventurer who has a little coin pouch on them. How interesting! How fun! There's about 3 gold in here. I'll just
free
take that.
Coins.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll just add it to the rest of this treasure that we found later on in the dungeon. That's great. Put it all in the party fund. Oh no. Then that's how you get yourself an infestation. Just I can't recommend in any good kind of conscience that a DM adds this to your game, but it is a fun thing to think about.
Yes, fun to think about. It's a fun theory to work with. Yeah, what an absolute abomination. You're always going to have gold.
Mm-hmm. It should be noted, I think I actually probably should do this. I think the spawn has to take place at a certain point. Or the consumed treasure. I think the maximum health hit points cannot exceed twice 18.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to say that the max hit points have to they max out at 36. You can't go higher than 36. Just because you don't want it to be in a pile of 200 gold pieces, take 20 minutes to eat it all, and then have an extra 400 hit points. That's too much. We don't want to do that. That's absurd. That would be the worst and least fun battle that you ever had in your entire life.
I know, because it doesn't even grow, so it's impossible to hit.
It's just tiny.
Coin.
It does no damage whatsoever. It's doing 5 damage per round, and you have to take down a 400 hit point bag. So that's going to max out at 36. So none of them can be above 36. As soon as they hit 36, they have to spawn at least if they haven't already. And then I don't know, maybe I do put a little bit of a capper on it because or a time cooldown or something like that. Because it would only take about 20 minutes for one of these things to cruise through 200 gold pieces. And of course, if you're thinking that it's spawning every time it doubles in size, then you're going to cut that time down to about probably 10 minutes or less for this thing to cruise through a full 200 gold piece stash.
Yeah. You could also, I'm trying to think a way to solve that problem. You could keep it infinite and then just make a separate stat block for a swarm of Gugas. If they get to a point where it's 10, 15 or more, you just switch over to this other stat block that's just a group of them.
That's a good idea. I should probably do a swarm situation.
Yeah, have some type of swarm mechanic that
Yeah.
so you don't have to operate a bunch of individual monsters at
Yeah.
well, you did say that it shares initiative, so at least that isn't that bad. But
Perhaps the consume treasure action takes longer than 6 seconds or something like that.
yeah, maybe it just takes a minute, so
Yeah.
it can't do it multiple times over the course of a combat, because that would be a nightmare. That would be crazy.
Yeah, maybe something like that. So limit it a little bit, add a swarm stat block, which is pretty easy to do, I think. That'd be a fun thing to try and like, see them let loose in a giant dragon's horde, and the dragon is just like, I will not eat you if you stop these things, please.
Right. Please help me. I'm so powerless. I can't even see them. I'm so big that I can't even see where they're going. I know they're here. I swear. I know they're here. I'm not crazy.
You are magical exterminators, and you need to help dragons clear their horde of these guys in particular.
Expel the vermin. Yeah.
You know what? That is a good quest. That is a solid quest.
A legitimately good and unique quest line. The dragon that everybody else in the village fears, and they're assuming you're going to go up and slay this dragon. You show up and it's just wrecked with anxiety. Just like the most panicked dragon.
Anybody who has had an infestation of anything in their home, whether it be ants or roaches or fruit flies,
it drives you crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you will do just
about
anything.
Finding them everywhere. Yeah, I will pay any amount of money for someone to come in and rid me of this nonsense.
Yeah, anybody who's experienced that knows very well how deeply stressful and how upsetting it can be on a psychological level. So, obviously, if you're going to put this in front of your party, be aware of that. Know how much stress that this might cause for your party.
Yeah.
Please use your best judgment here. But I really enjoy these little guys. I really enjoy some really sneaky little mechanics that throw a wrench into some stuff. It's very fun.
Love it. Yeah, I love the playable species. I would love to play one of those. I would love to play one of those that has just woken up and unmelded from stone after several centuries and is just figuring out what they're doing. Like if it's a high level campaign, that's how I would love like a high level one shot, level 17 and above.
I mean, because if you do the math on it, you're like, okay, after 1 year, you're at level 2. After 3 years, you're at level 3. And then after 5 years, you're at level 4. 7 years, you're at level 5. No, is that right? Yeah, 7 years you're at level 5.
Is it an additional 2 years, or does the duration include? Because I thought that the duration increased by 2 years.
Oh, maybe.
Time. So like after one.
I don't remember how I did this math. I did it so many different ways that I was like, at a certain point, I was like, it maybe multiplies by 2 every year. But then I was like, oh no, that's crazy. That's crazy.
After requires an additional 2 years. Yeah, you're at level 2 after the first year. That doubles. So after 2 additional years.
Oh yeah. So no, you're right.
You're level 2 after 3 years, but then that doubles again. So after 6 years, you're at level 3.
After 25 years, you're a level 6 character. 25 years to get to a level 6 character.
Yeah.
36 years to get to a level 7. 49, almost 50 years to get to a level 8 character. Which, like, yeah, if you're bringing in a character at level 8, or if you're starting a campaign at like level 8, 9, or 10, like having a character that's like, I have been asleep for the last half a century. I do not know what's happening. What is the world right now? It's a fun way to be like, yeah, you're not like, you don't have amnesia necessarily. So like your backstory is still in your brain. You still have that. But like you also get the really enjoyable sort of like beginner's mind quality of like a character who has no real familiarity with what's going on and can kind of just lock into the first thing that comes across their path. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think the math on this could change. I think it's maybe a little crazy to multiply the duration by 2 every time you level. I think in order to get to a level 20 character, I think it's like 200 something thousand. 262,000 years basically to get to a level 20 character. Maybe that's good actually though. Maybe that's true.
How old is your world? What's
Exactly
the
right.
lore of your world? How long have things been going on? This creature has been stuck in the side of a mountain since the beginning of time, and is just now popping out as a level 19 character.
Yep. It is the only one of its kind. It evolved
only one.
entirely independently. It spawned life because a tiny little mode of magic got woven
Stuck
into the
in
rock
between- yeah.
at
Yep.
the beginning of time. And
The
that
only
tiny
Geon to
spark of
ever
magic
exist. Yeah.
creates life that evolves over the course of 100-some-thousand years.
Yeah.
And now you are basically
Where
a
am I?
new god birthed whole cloth from the world. God, that's actually a really, really solid backstory for like some kind of major enemy situation.
It's perfect.
I was birthed from a single spark of magic deep beneath the earth when the earth was created, and it is only now that I have evolved to the point where I can emerge fully formed, but I am also level 20, so
and have no social skills.
no social skills
no
and no
coping
like
skills.
absolutely no sense of like responsibility to other
Right.
living beings. I get to choose what reality looks like. Entirely ego exclusion.
The true neutral egotistical creature that has no boundaries.
Love it. Perfect.
In its pursuit of just learning how the world works, it gets in the way of the party over and over and over again. Not trying to stop them, just figuring out how its body works. Just figuring out
or just like,
how it interacts with the world. Yeah.
I don't like this. I think this should not be like this. I do not like this. And then you change it.
And I have the power to stop it because I'm a level 19.
Ah,
I don't know.
terrified.
What's the best class for that to happen? As a
sorcerer, probably.
Probably sorcerer makes the most sense, or like a world tree barbarian, who is just rooted to the center of
could be
center of
sure.
a mountain,
sure,
just wreaking havoc.
It's a fun little thought experiment. It's some crazy stuff, but yeah.
Anyway, loved what you made. I had fun making what I made.
I loved what you made as well. It was a great time.
Delightful
stuff. Cool guys.
Let's figure out what we're gonna make for next episode.
Great. Let's do it.
I am going to pull up our giant table of prompts. This is a D20 table filled with things that we have received from you, the listeners, from places across the internet, sometimes from each other. I'm going to pull that table up, and Dan is going to roll on the table to see what we're going to make. If you have a prompt, again, I know Dan said it at the beginning of the episode, just a reminder, please send us an email at collegeofcreationpod@gmail.com with your prompts. We would love to hear from you. Or you can hit us up on Patreon. That's patreon.com/collegeofcreationpod. Tell us what you'd like us to make for you, or inspired by you, or just say hi. We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. All right. We have a 9.
A 9. A consumable item that
your favorite.
evaporates when charges are spent. It evaporates when charges are spent. So it doesn't go away when the charges are gone. Pieces of it are taken away from it as you burn charges.
Is that how we're interpreting
crazy.
this?
I don't know. That I feel
I don't
like
know. When charges are spent,
item
not
that
when charges
then
are
evaporates when charges are spent.
Entirely spent necessarily, although it could be. Also, evaporating. Are we saying evaporating like moisture evaporates, or is it
coming
more
off
of
the item?
Yeah, more of a metaphorical evaporation.
I mean, knowing how our interpretation of prompts have gone in the past, I'm sure it'll be more metaphorical than literal, but
Who's to say?
Exploring a literal process of evaporation is also cool. I don't know that I've experienced anything in the game that truly deals with evaporation, like heat vaporizing water and removing it from something else. Is there anything that, at least not published? I'm sure it exists somewhere in someone's homebrew world, homebrew game.
I'm interested in this. I think I have some ideas already starting to float around in my brain. I think this is fun. Mostly, I think because of the interpretation of the prompt. Like, there are lots of ways to interpret this.
Yeah. Several layers.
Consumable, I think, is huge. Consumable is very, very interesting and cool and pretty rare. Obviously not rare around these parts. We make all kinds of those things, but
love a consumable item.
Yeah, we love consumables here on the show. But it is cool to continue to have more options for that kind of thing. I think that's fun.
Very cool.
Yes,
I love it.
Yeah. I guess we'll have to wait and see how each of us interpret the wording of this. Hopefully not too much crossover.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, Michael.
Interesting.
Before we go, do you have anything to say to the people before we say goodbye?
I do have something to say to the people before we say goodbye. Hey, DMs, take a second. This can get a bit overwhelming if you try and think of lots and lots of places all at once. Right now, close your eyes. Think about one city in your world, one village in your world. It doesn't matter how big. It could be 4 huts or 1,000 buildings. I want you to picture that place. Maybe a place that your characters have never gone. Something that you're just like a dream village that you want them to explore someday. Think about how it is right now. And then go back 5 years. Think about how it was 5 years ago. What stuff happened along the course of the last 5 years to make it how it is now? Think about what it was like 50 years ago. Was it there 50 years ago? If it wasn't there 50 years ago, when did it establish along the course of the last 50 years? Think about 100 years ago. Was it still there 100 years ago? If not, what was there 100 years ago? And you don't have to fill in any of those details, right? Just stretch the history of one tiny piece of your world back 100 years in increments, and then write that stuff down. That's what you can put on your to-do list for today. And then send us an email and tell us what you came up with.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, I love that. Because the places we live and the places the people in your fantasy worlds live, those places are their history.
Mm-hmm.
Those places are all of the things that have happened there to bring them into being. And those people are the combined histories of each other and that place and all of that stuff. So it's good to know what is the history? Why is it the way that it is?
And not every DM is going to be, we're not all actors. We're not all improvisers. We're not all geologists or anthropologists or historians. We don't take all of that into account when we're running games. It is perfectly serviceable to have people in your villages and towns and whatever in your games act exactly the same 50 years ago as they do now. That will fly, and your party won't care.
Yeah.
But if you also want to add a little bit of texture to your game, just figure out minor differences in speech. How did the people of this village talk 100 years ago? Certainly it can't be exactly the same as it is today. Different species move in and out, different imports and exports and different customs kind of rise and fall in popularity. Different things happen to geographic locations. So just think about that. Or don't. Either one is fine.
Either one is fine. You know what?
Yeah.
But I think it's a good suggestion.
Good.
I think it's a good activity that if that's the kind of thing you're looking to add to your game, a little more a little more richness to the history, that's a great way to do it. It's just in those stages, looking back,
just a little
imagining
experiment.
what might have been in the past. It's a fun
Thought
experiment
for you. Yeah.
Great stuff. Love it, Michael. I'm looking forward to whatever we come up with next time around.
Indeed.
Until then, listeners, we will talk to you then. Goodbye.
Goodbye.